If you have a child, be prepared to hear your child call you and beg for you to help them and provide ransom to a kidnapper. This happened recently, and this is only going to become more common because it's so easy to do. AI clones teen girl's voice and then calls the mom and asks her for $1,000,000. And I'm not going to go through all the details because it gets pretty graphic what the voice said. But the mom insists she was certain it was her daughter. She heard the daughter crying and begging for help, and she said it sounded just like she would cry. You can do this. Mimicking of someone's voice with as little as 3 seconds of audio. And this isn't super complicated. My team has done this before. We can take anybody's voice with a few seconds of audio. Where do you get that? Social media is probably the most popular place, although the mother claims that her daughter had no public social media accounts. So where else can it happen? Literally, she could have been out at the mall, out at dinner, out hanging out with friends, at a sports game, whatever, and some psycho just hits record on his phone and just listens to her talk to her friends for a few minutes, records that, or for a few seconds, and now he has it. Now, you would have to find out who she is and reach out, so that's where social media usually makes it easier. It could also have been the mother's social media profile, allowed him to make the connection so know how to reach out. This is the problem with AI. This is something that's not, unfortunately, being addressed with most of the calls around AI ethics. Things like transparency, inclusion, accountability, that all sounds nice. But the reality is there needs to be a clearer understanding when we look at these different ethics, transparency, co-creation of open standards. Like, what does that mean? Like, let's be real clear. You shouldn't mimic somebody's voice to extort other people, right? Like, that is bad. Nobody says things like this. Why don't we call this out? Can't we all just get together and say, this is an unacceptable way to use the technology, that anybody that is doing this is at the least violating the acceptable use, maybe breaking the law, probably, I would say definitely breaking the law in this particular instance of using it to extort money and to lie and so on. And I imagine there were numerous, issues with this, but for the AI companies will not have responsibility. I'm certain for this. And I don't know that you can, because there's no way to completely stop these things, because there's many good uses for this. I think the next article up after this said something about there it is, a man resurrected his late father for Christmas, basically using AI to replicate his voice and read some things to his currently living wife. But the discussions around this and how we prepare for this and being aware that this is a thing are necessary. We talk about a lot of this in more detail in our book, Soulless Intelligence. So take a look, sign up to stay in touch, and be aware of this information, because it's something we all need to be working on.